Welcome to A Seat at the Table. I'm Mike Flores, Chancellor for the Alamo Colleges District. Today we're excited to explore our long-standing partnership with the National Security Agency, or NSA. We're going to discuss in particular how our Alamo Colleges-wide partnership is helping to cultivate the next generation of cybersecurity experts. And we're going to spend some time talking about our new Bachelor of Applied Technology, or BAT degree in cybersecurity at St. Philip's College. To do that, we have two special guests. Michael Enriquez, who's a student in the new BAT degree at St. Philip's College. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
And also Miss Alicia Butler, who's the academic engagement lead with NSA here in Texas. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So this, as you know, is a conversation that we have with our guests, and I'm going to go ahead and begin with you, Miss Butler, Alicia. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself and then also about your role with NSA here in Texas.
Sure. Well, again, my name is Alicia Butler, and I'm actually a San Antonio native. Graduated from Taft High School, and I had an opportunity to go to Texas Women's University in Denton, Texas, and then further on to got my master's from Webster University out of St. Louis, but I did that while still living here in San Antonio. So I have been with the agency now for 10 years. I started out at our headquarters location, which is in Maryland, and then after 3 years, I was able to move down to our San Antonio campus. So for the National Security Agency now, I do, as you stated, serve as the academic engagement lead. And so there I'm responsible for developing our site's relationships with local academic institutions to really help enhance NSA's mission. And then also I coordinate some of our site participation with STEM, cyber, as well as language events and any other academic engagements.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds like quite a bit.
It is. It is.
So talk to us a little bit about those partnerships, in particular with colleges and universities. So what does that look like? What are some of the different things? What is the benefit to NSA in particular?
Sure, definitely. So partnerships are very important and very key to us. The problems we're facing today are too complex and too dynamic for just any one organization to be able to handle. And so we look at our academic institutions as well as our government and industry as partners to help us solve those problems.
Okay. Wonderful. And then one of the things, not only at St. Philip's, but, St. Philip's in particular has a Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, right, designation. But tell us a little bit more about what that means, and then also about some of the other colleges within Alamo that share that designation.
Okay, sure. So our partnerships with academia is definitely an important part of our mission success. And so academia for NSA, some of those goals, when we're looking at those designations, it helps to develop a robust, capable, and diverse workforce with expertise in critical fields NSA needs for the future. We also look at building those talent communities, and which again is across the government, industry, and our academia to help solve those hard problems for the nation. And then lastly, we like to raise awareness for or about NSA's mission, as well as our responsibilities and opportunities. So as you mentioned, St. Philip's College is one of the schools that is designated as a National Center of Excellence within the cybersecurity realm. And so that's a very great opportunity to have. And so we work closely with them. We've had an opportunity to tour the facility, which has been very, very nice, and we've really enjoyed the partnership that we have. We also are able to bring out subject matter experts from our campus to come and speak to the class as needed. And so it's just been a really great opportunity for us.
That's wonderful. You mentioned talent communities, right, and talked about partnerships with colleges and universities, and then many of those colleges may have, right, that specific Center of Excellence designation. That includes St. Philip's, and we have with us from St. Philip's Michael Enriquez, who's part of the inaugural cohort of students taking or part of the initial cohort, right,
Yes.
for the Bachelor of Applied Technology degree in cybersecurity. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Michael, and then how you got to this point and being part of, one of the first students to enroll in the program.
So I've always had an interest in cybersecurity, going all the way back to about high school.
Okay.
Now, my family did have a home PC, but when you have a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad, and a family business, there's very little time for the youngest to actually get any sort of time on the computer. So I got really lucky in the fact that my high school had a computer lab in our library. So I spent a lot of my free time there learning how to work with Microsoft, how to do the settings, how to figure out what kind of things were capable of a Microsoft system. And eventually it started going down Googling guides on how to work with Microsoft PowerShell, how to work with PowerShell, and what was possible with a computer in general.
Okay.
And that was a rabbit hole that I really enjoyed learning more and more about. I even got into robotics when I was in school and learned a little about programming from there. Eventually, I did get into the trade school, and I actually was studying to become an electrician. And right around when the pandemic was about to hit, I was starting to feel the physical effects of working in out in construction, the physical labor. And that was a moment of realization to myself. I was like, I cannot do this forever. So when I heard about St. Philip's, I heard about their cybersecurity program, and I made the decision to pull that trigger, and I started build my own computer from scratch, and then I started going into cybersecurity, and have been enjoying it ever since.
Wonderful. So classes have just started, right, in particular? So within cybersecurity, I mean, we hear about what cybersecurity is, but what are some of the things that interest you within the field?
The thing that's always interested me about cybersecurity is that whenever I encounter a new system or something that I have to get past or something that I have to investigate, it always feels like almost like a puzzle in a sense.
Okay.
And when I figure out how to get past that firewall or how to get into that system or actually figure out what was I missing before, it always gives me that rush of dopamine that I'm like, this is so exciting, like just learning something new, a new technique, a new method, a new protocol. And then I move on to the next one, to the next problem, or to the next system, and it's a whole new thing, and I get to start all over again from the very beginning. And as I progress, whatever techniques I learned previously from all those systems before, all those solutions, I get to apply that knowledge to every system moving forward.
Wonderful. And that's definitely exciting. I know we think of it as something far removed from our lives, right? But definitely very connected to our lives, impacting whether we're able, to work, to travel. So personal and professional definitely has an impact. What would you like to do then once you earn? I know you just started, right? But as you look at the field, you mentioned what excites you about learning within cybersecurity, right? Because it's constantly changing.
Yes.
New products, but also just shifts in that specific area. What would you like to do as you earn your credential, your bachelor's degree in cybersecurity?
I remember I decided what I wanted to do way back during my associates, probably around maybe semester 3 or so.
Okay.
And I know it's very bold, but I want to become a pen tester in the future, actually.
Okay. And what does that mean?
A pen
For
tester,
us lay people, what does that mean?
A pen tester is that's short for a penetration tester. A penetration tester is somebody who works for a company, or it can be hired privately, and what they do is that they go to their client's business and they test the security. They figure out the ins and outs of it. They try to figure out a way how to get into that system. And the end result is that they show what the vulnerability was. How were they able to get into the system? What were they able to access? So that way they can show the client how to mitigate against that in the future.
Wonderful. So, I think that's also one of the areas of interest for us. So each of the colleges, right, all 5 of the colleges, St. Philip's, of course, have programs in IT and then offer certifications or associate's degrees. St. Philip's is unique in being able to offer the Bachelor of Applied Technology and Cybersecurity because bachelor degrees are unique just to come up in the last 2 years for us, whether that's a Bachelor of Science in Nursing at San Antonio College, Cybersecurity at St. Philip's, Cloud Computing at Northwest Vista, and then Management at Palo Alto. We're still trying to determine what number 5 is. But those are areas with demand, right, that are going to pay high wages to graduates of those programs in particular, in which also either the private sector or the public sector has said that there is a high need for these areas within our community and nationally. What are some of the things, Alicia, that we should be aware of within cybersecurity? How is the NSA working on kind of building up this next generation of cybersecurity experts?
Sure. Well, NSA lives the concept that people are our mission, and which means valuing the people. And so they do that by being able to support, enabling, developing, communicating, and listening. After talented people begin to work with us, we know we must take care of our people and set those conditions for them to want to continue to work for NSA. That requires that the agency is able to provide ongoing training and development, as well as opportunities to keep the employees sharp and also interested.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, we've been talking with Michael Enriquez. He's a new student in the first cohort of the Bachelors of Applied Technology in Cybersecurity. And from the information I have, Michael, one of the things it says is it's designed to equip students with the knowledge to combat cyber threats, right?
Yes.
And comes as a need really to address the evolving landscape of digital security. So what can you tell us a little bit about, I'm a layperson, I just know about multi-factor authentication, right? I try and log into one of my accounts, and then it prompts me for something to send to my email or a code to send to my cell phone. So,
Yes.
What is that? Why do we have to do that?
So the reason why is because in what we've learned in school is that there always needs to be multiple layers of security. And granted, yes, it makes things a little bit more inconvenient in a sense, but it's to make you more secure.
Right.
Because one layer of security is not enough. However, if you add another layer on top of it, your chances of protecting yourself exponentially go up.
Okay.
And that's kind of just like a little bit of insurance in a manner of speaking.
So what does that look like in the program? I know you're in your first semester, right, for the bachelor's program?
Yes.
So, is there a course on multi-factor authentication, or what are the types of courses that you're taking?
So right now I am involved in my mobile technologies course, and
Okay.
that does actually cover a little bit of multi-factor authentication because we go across basically mobile technology, like cell phones, laptops, Internet of Things, stuff like that.
Okay.
The other ones outside of that is I am studying cybercrime.
Cybercrime. Okay.
So this is kind of delving into the crimes of the past. This is also kind of understanding the mentality of a hacker behind the scenes a little bit,
Okay.
trying to understand that. And then finally cryptography, which is all about hiding information, all about trying to keep it safe and secure.
Okay. Wonderful. And then you mentioned you wanted to be a pen tester,
Yes.
and that has to deal with working for clients or customers to be able then to determine vulnerabilities in specific software programs.
Yes. So
Okay.
the idea of a pen tester is that we use the same techniques and skills used by hackers out there to get into the system, but we do it for a good purpose in that we show you and educate you on how to mitigate against that.
Wonderful.
Basically, we're learning from their techniques so that way we can make everybody more secure against them.
Okay. I think we can see definitely the need for cybersecurity, right? And so also the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that cybersecurity jobs are going to grow by a third, by 31%. From 2019 to 2029, we're halfway there. Obviously, San Antonio plays an outsized role in that because of just the presence of cybersecurity firms within our community. I wanted to point out to the audience, right, to our viewership as well, that an entry-level salary for an individual entering cybersecurity is projected at $64,480 annually, right? So about $65,000 annually, and that's according to the Texas Workforce Commission. So what is it, you began your first semester? There's several more semesters, right? You only began the program, but what do you think are some of the other things? What does coursework look like? Are there guest speakers? Are there field trips? I'm trying to ask because this is just ever changing. What are the things that interest you, and what are some of the things that faculty are bringing forward in the classroom?
I would say this. I would say if you're just taking the classes and just like even if you were just taking them online and not having that interaction with a teacher, I'd say you're severely hindering yourself because
Okay.
that engagement with your classmates, that engagement with your teacher, and even the extracurricular activities outside of that, like joining clubs and such, that is where most of your experience is going to come from. That's where you're going to be able to branch out a lot more. And that's what I learned in my first few semesters.
That's wonderful. So both either physically in the classroom or virtually in the classroom, right?
Yeah, I would say when you're there physically, you do
Yeah.
learn a lot more because you get to take full advantage of the hands-on experience. You are actually touching the equipment. You are working with the equipment. So it's not just reading about how a server works. You're actually working with a server and learning how to work it.
What is, one of the things that we've done is we've built up this capacity, right, in the programs at St. Philip's and the other colleges is to be able to ensure that we are providing just-in-time resources and training to students. Some of the equipment that has been purchased has been what's called a cyber range. What's a cyber range?
So the cyber range, we actually do call it a mock SOC, which is SOC, which stands for Security Operations Center.
Okay.
And we get the experience of actually kind of understanding how things would work if we were in that sort of environment.
Okay.
In other words, we have this large screen that has all these different things running at once, and it kind of monitors the system for us. And we get that information. It goes to the first row, and they can kind of check and see if there's anything that sort of looks a little bit interesting or a little bit out of the norm or off of the normal basis that we're supposed to have. And if they find something that might be a credible threat, then they pass it back to Tier 2. Tier 2 essentially looks at it, tries to investigate it, and if they can't solve it on their own, it goes to the final row, which is Tier 3. Those are the ones who actually are known as threat hunters, and they try to hunt down whatever it was that's causing it to go out of sorts.
Interesting, right? I can see, right, how there are also multiple layers of individuals involved.
Yes.
In this effort, depending upon where it is and the level, the threat and the seriousness of the issue at hand. So, I think one of the other things, Alicia, having heard from Michael, right, are what are the different types of opportunities that the NSA provides to students? Are there internships or things? What does that look like?
Yes, sure. So we currently do have an open internship that's taking place now. It opens September 1st, and it runs from September 1st through October 1st. You'll notice that is a short timeline,
Sure.
and that's only because it does take quite some time to go through our security clearance process. So we do encourage individuals that are interested in internship opportunities to visit our website. One of the things I also would like to highlight is that we have internship opportunities not only here in our San Antonio location, but throughout our cryptologic centers as well as our headquarter location, which is in Baltimore, Maryland. And so the other cryptologic centers do include Colorado, Hawaii, and Georgia.
Wow, sounds
Yes.
like some very scenic locations for you, Michael, in the
It does.
future. And then, I think, Michael, I wanted to ask you then, what would be your advice for students considering entering the bachelor's program at St. Philip's?
How do I word this? So I'm coming to this program from a trade school.
Right.
So I never really considered myself as the smartest person in the room, and I think that's always been one of my things that I would rather be humble about. But I say that when it comes to the St. Philip's course, the benefit of it is that you're never alone in a way, in that if you have a trouble with something or if you're having trouble understanding something, you have classmates you can depend upon who are learning the same material as you. You have a teacher who is willing to take that time aside to sit down with you in a one-on-one session and actually help you understand what you're looking at and kind of get that information and keep it in your head. And you also have people that are in years ahead of you that are willing to take that time to step back and help somebody understand it when they didn't have that chance earlier on. That's what I say. So it's one of those things of, if it's the hesitation that you're not going to understand it, or that you're not that it's just like it's too outside of the norm for you.
Sure.
Taking that step forward is definitely the first thing I could recommend, because you're not going to just fall right off the cliff. You have somebody there that's going to help you, that's going to get you.
That's wonderful. So take that calculated leap of faith, right?
In a way, yeah.
You have a support system there, faculty, peers, right, to be
Yes.
able to do that, ensure you're successful. For us, I think the other nice thing is you have partners, whether they're corporate partners or governmental agencies like the NSA, the National Security Agency, to be able to assist, provide opportunities like the internship opportunity that's available until October
1st. And I forgot to mention the website address. If I
Oh, go
may.
ahead. Yes.
It's www.intelligencecareers.gov/NSA.
Okay, one more time.
www.intelligencecareers.gov/NSA.
Okay, wonderful. And I think we'll put that at the bottom of the podcast so folks can also be able to hyperlink to that. Well, I want to thank, this is obviously an area of critical importance to us as an organization, but I think to society, really in the functioning of our society, to be able to ensure that individuals are can go on with their daily lives, right? And so, as we mentioned, cybersecurity, it does involve security for organizations, for individuals, families, most importantly for our communities. I want to thank both of our guests today. So Michael Enriquez, who's a student part of the inaugural cohort of the Bachelor of Applied Technology in Cybersecurity at St. Philip's College, as well as Miss Alicia, who's here with us from NSA. I want to thank you, Miss Butler, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
NSA lead here in Texas, and the NSA is the National Security Agency. Definitely plays a critical role in supporting our students and our programs and our centers of excellence here at the Alamo Colleges.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having me.